Hello, fairy finders and fairy seekers. Welcome to FaerieQuest and another episode of Real Fairies and Real Photos. This time, however, we are going to be at the Mystic Trail, or Heart of Iowa Trail. I will always call it the Mystic Trail in Rhodes, Iowa, and we are going to go through only one photograph. And I have already found all the fairies, or most of the fairies, in this photograph. So I'm giving them to you one at a time, but I'm also showing you within the frames of this video that they really are in the same photograph. So you'll see what I mean with the white and red boxes on the larger picture in each frame. The white ones will be the fairies you've already seen in previous parts of the video, and the red one will be the current one for that particular frame you're looking at. Anyway, keep in mind that you can pause if you need to take a closer look at each one of these fairies, but it is really amazing. I do believe this particular photo, at least in the left-hand corner, is a portal for fairies to come in and out. So here we go. This appears to be a family of fairies. Grandma and Grandpa are the two arrows on the left. Grandpa is black and white, while Grandma is dressed in blue. Both are wearing glasses. The two arrows on the right, I believe, are children, but they seem to be of a different species of fairy. One is wearing a green hat, and we can see a blurred face below the hat. The other is black and white, and we can see a hat, eyes, nose, upper body, and a hand. There are two fairies here that are dressed in outfits that resemble what a nun would wear. Both are wearing hats, and both are wearing robes. There is very little detail to these two fairies as they have blended with their surroundings very well. This is an adorable baby fairy, I believe. It looks like he or she is sitting in a little black pot to allow him or her to be out in the open air but unable to go exploring. A little pod to keep this baby safe. We can see a hat and a green face with eyes and nose. We can even see the little ears sticking out to the sides. This fairy is quite clear, though he has done a good job of blending into the sticks around him. I believe he is sitting on one of the downed trees if you reference the larger picture to the left. We can see his orangish hair, an eyebrow, one eye, and his nose. We can also see one arm, his right, stretched out toward the sticks in front of him. One leg can also be seen. It is often difficult to tell if a fairy is a child or adult, as size cannot always be an indication. This fairy, however, has a beard, so I am going to say he is an adult. We see his hat, or kind of like helmet, and a profile of his face, his bangs, one eye, nose, beard, and ear. He also appears to be sitting on a rock, kind of hunched over. We see one leg and a foot. This fairy is a bit harder to describe. We can see he is wearing a small black hat with white beads around it. He is also very pale. We see him in profile with one pointed ear, one eye, his nose, and a beard. I believe the tannish part under his beard may be his butt, as though he is bending. If this is correct, we can also see a leg, but I cannot be absolutely sure on this lower portion of him. This fairy does not look very cheerful. We can see half of his face straight on as the other half looks to be covered by a leaf and a reed-like plant. We see a tuft of black hair on the side of his head, one eye, his nose, and a chubby cheek. We can also see a very spindly leg and a shoe. I wonder if I disturbed him when taking my photo. This fairy appears very stiff in comparison to most fairies that I photograph. We can see he is wearing a type of suit, and it almost looks like he has a hat that is attached to his face in a mask form that goes over his eyes and nose. It is silvery gray. We can see the skin color of his chin and mouth. So interesting. As you can see, once in a while I am able to take a photo of a type of animal in the fairy world. Of course, this could be a fairy also, and not considered an animal at all. I can only guess on that. It is easy to see its eyes, but what really made me take notice were the nostrils. If you look closely, you can even see the pupils in its eyes. Dinosaur? Dragon? What do you think? You may look at this one and think that she is just a part of the earth. You could be right, but the light is reflecting off of her glasses and her hair is blonde and out of color from the leaves and such around her. I think that she is friends with the dinosaur or dragon from the previous picture, and that the two of them were coming into this dimension when I took the photo. Not so far-fetched when you consider the many different fairies in this one photo. This may be an area with a portal. Here is another fairy you may not believe is a fairy, but I believe this one is also coming in as I shoot the photo and did not have time to blend, which is why its color is so different. This is also why it is formed so strangely, as it tried quickly to mimic a leaf because my being there was not expected. We cannot mistake its eye or its arm and hand. There is nothing else within this photo with a color even close to this. I am hoping that you are able to see this fairy as clearly as I can. He has a hat, dark hair, a light-colored face in which we can see an open eye, a closed eye, a nose, and part of a mouth. We can also see a pointed ear. He is obviously trying to stay low and is leaned over by the downed tree. We can see fingers on the tree and also a leg and shoe on the opposite side of the tree. This fairy is kind of a depiction of a mouse here on Earth. The ears are a bit different, and it is wearing clothes, so I think putting it in the category of fairy is safe enough. We can see the ears, the eyes, part of the mouth, and the tip of its nose. If you look closely at the upper body, you can even see a little arm and hand. This little fairy looks to be an actual fairy, F-A-I-R-Y. As we can see, she has wings. One wing is stretched out, and the other is leaned on the leaf, partially covering her face. This is why we can see her eyes, but no other facial features. She has grayish hair with a side part. She may be green all the time, or is the color that she has mastered the best for blending. But this time, it made her stand out. She's adorable. So this is the entire picture, sized down, obviously, for YouTube's frames, but it is the whole picture. And as you can see, all of the fairies that we have just covered in this video are shown in the red boxes here. So that's a good number of fairies in one small area of the Mystic Trail. I thought you might enjoy seeing that. So until the next video, take care.